Firebombing gold skeletons is the easiest and fastest way to get rid of a lot of them. You can also use firebombs to increase the rate of killing skeleton captains. The extra DPS will help you kill them extremely fast. Although you can use them to give you a major advantage, bringing kegs on your ship is always dangerous, regardless of where you store them. If you do bring kegs on board, never put them in your crow's nest. If someone does blow up your kegs, when they're in your crow's nest, your mast will go down, and you will be a sitting duck while they fight you. If you have to bring kegs, I recommend putting them at the end of your bowsprit. You can have extremely good mobility, even on a galleon if you use the harpoons to turn. If a ship is constantly hunting you, even after sinking you the first time, you can change servers but keep your current voyages alive by scuttling and changing seas. You can sell emissary flags to the Reaper NPC at the outpost, but many commendations do require you to sell them at the Reaper's hideout. If you're sword fighting on a ship and you fail to hit your sword dash, you can grab onto a cannon, a sail control, or anything else to cancel the cooldown animation. The flag of the Reaper's mark will show your location to all other crews on the server. Although it is required to fly this flag for some commendations, I can't really recommend flying this to new players. If you get attacked and you think that you're going to sink, but you have some valuable items that you want to keep, you can bury it on whatever island you're at, and you'll get a map of where it is. But make sure to bury it after your ship has already sunk, so that the map will spawn on the new ship, and the enemies won't be able to get your maps and steal your treasure. Turning off all the lanterns on your ship can make you more difficult to spot on the horizon, especially at night. I've found that using rarer, harder to earn cosmetics will sometimes cause less players to fight you, because you'll look more experienced. However, this only works if the other player also has knowledge of your rare cosmetics, and what it takes to get them. You can see how many other emissary ships there are of each kind on your server, by counting the wooden boats on the emissary tables where you vote for your own flag. It never hurts to look around your ship and make sure there's no tuckers sneaking around. If you ever want to collect a Reaper chest but don't want a marker on you right now, you can always pick it up and bury it at the nearest island for later. This will take the marker off the map and also allow more of them to spawn. You can find random discounted cosmetics at any seapost. If you want to tuck on ships and be sneaky, make sure you're not wearing glowy cosmetics. This will make you infinitely easier to spot. Another tip for being sneaky is to go barefoot. The barefoot walking sound is much quieter than with boots, a peg leg, or the skeleton curse. Using the Rare Thief map will save you a lot of time. Here you can search for islands based on name or shape, and find any information about the island that you could want to know. Holding a sword out when you're in a storm makes lightning more likely to strike you. Using your ship's cannons to defeat bosses will result in extremely high DPS, and secure the kill quickly regardless of what boss it is. Turning on crew status tags will help you work with your crewmates by letting you know what they are already doing without having to go look directly at them. For example, it'll let you know when they're repairing, carrying stuff, or even putting out a fire. You can bail water through any grates on any ship. Fire on ships causes holes to form over time, so you can sink ships with only fire bombs, but it might take a while. Sailing on a captain boat will save you a lot of time selling loot. If you don't have one yet, you can buy one for as little as 250,000 in the main menu. And having a captain ship will allow you to sell all of your loot to just one NPC instead of having to run around the island. Shooting yourself out of a vertically aimed cannon is a great strategy to look around and be able to see very far away without anything being in your way. From far away, you won't be able to see what's on someone's emissary flag, but you'll be able to see the shape. Knowing the shape of these will help you identify what emissary they're representing. Even if you don't really want to fight the Meg that just spawned next to you, always check to see if it's the Shrouded Ghost. If it is, make sure to kill it. It's extremely rare and it'll probably be a long time before you see it again. It's important to memorize sound cues so you know what's going on. For example, the sound of someone boarding your ship, the sound of someone swimming around in the water next to you, the sound various monsters make, and the sound of ancient skellies spawning. When sneaking up on a ship, make sure not to fire your cannons right away until you're ready, so that you don't give away your position. A lot of pirates might not be expecting company, so they won't be looking around. Another way you can accidentally give away your position if you're near somebody is typing, so don't do this. If you haven't already, max out your FOV to 90. You'll be able to see so much more and it'll be easier to play. Pets will emote with you and dance when you play music. However, if you're trying to be stealthy, don't have your pet out. Pet names will always be able to be seen if someone is close enough to them, and they will also walk around and be a giveaway that someone is nearby. While boarding ships, start eating food to create distance between you and the ladder guarding opponent. That way you can be full health when you engage in combat. You can bury kegs to set traps for other players. Once they dig them up, the fuse will light. When you enter naval combat, look for kegs in their crow's nest. Even though it's extremely dangerous to do this, people will always put them there anyways. If you land a sniper shot on them, it'll give you a massive advantage. Everyone knows that you can sell fish and cooked meats at Seapost to get Hunter's Call rep, but you can also sell mermaid gems and tridents here. Since we're talking about Hunter's Call, you can also easily work on fishing commendation and Hunter's Call rep by fishing in the extended part of the Athena's Fortune area. This does require you being Pirate Legend and being level 100 in Guardians of Fortune, or you can just have someone else open it for you. The reason why this works is there is an NPC here that you can sell fish to. You can throw up on fires to put them out. You can also vomit on campfires to put those out. You can also store vomit in a bucket and use it later to blind pirates in combat. The fastest way to sell loot at Reaper's Hideout requires you to have a harpoon rowboat. After having all of your loot on the rowboat, use the harpoon to drag yourself up onto the island and into the tent. Then blunder bomb it until it breaks, wait for it to despawn, and then you'll have all of your treasure right next to the NPC for extremely fast selling. If you're hiding out at a location that's being contested and you're trying to stay unnoticed, don't use the spyglass or a sniper to look around. The sunlight will reflect off of it, and the glint will give away your position right away. If you sink a player or skeleton ship and you can't find the loot, look around for birds. They will be an indicator of exactly where to find the loot. Also, any loot in any location can be stolen from you up until the point where you sell it, so always keep an eye out for sneaky pirates trying to pull off a heist. There are 3 tiers of holes that can occur in the hull of your ship. Each tier will let in more water at a faster rate. They will also take a lot longer to repair. Anchoring and leaving your sails down will always make you look like an easy target to any players who are watching you from a distance. Subscribing to Lucky is another great one. It's a great way to learn more about this game and find guides for whatever you might be looking for. Blunder bombs are insanely good for PvP. The splash damage and the knockback makes them incredibly strong, especially versus multiple enemies. Since the introduction of Season 10, it is now possible to repair rowboats, so pay attention to when your rowboat takes damage to prevent it from sinking. It's important to know that if you're PvPing on a ship, you're able to shoot through the stairs and the grates on any ship. You can clear out all of the markers on your map in just one button. Just hover over one of them, and there will be a prompt at the bottom of the map. Keeping an ashen chest until you open it is almost always worth it, because you can get up to 3 items that will sell for even more doubloons than the chest itself, as well as a variety of commendation items. Now that fruit crates are buffed in Season 10, buying these at the start of your voyage is a great value. If you have a lot of food to cook to turn into Hunter's Call, stopping at a seafort is a great idea, as all seaforts have a stove where you can cook 4 things at once. You can move around slightly while you're reviving your teammates so you can dodge incoming attacks. Similarly, you can move around while you repair. This is especially good for repairing the capstan, while someone's trying to put up your anchor. If you ever find yourself sailing in the complete wrong direction, you can easily turn around by turning your wheel all the way to one side and dropping your anchor. This will allow you to 180 fast. If you ever want to do some voyages but you don't want people to bug you, doing Devil's Roar voyages will surely be your best option. Although they are much more dangerous, players are almost never in that region of the map. You can stop skeletons from repairing their ships by boarding them and killing them as they spawn, before they get a chance to repair. Memorizing how decorative barrels are arranged on every ship type will help you easily determine if someone's tucking on your ship with the barrel emote. When you're trying to harpoon things from far away, aim so that the top of the harpoon is slightly under the item that you're trying to grab. I found this to be the most consistent method for grabbing items that are far away. Turning on reduced hold to interact will make picking up loot and interacting with stuff so much smoother. This will make it so you only have to tap the button once instead of holding it. Picking up all the small loot and putting it into a collector's chest is a lot of work, but holding a collector's chest and then picking up the items with it is much faster. A lot of sails will give a slight vision advantage over the default shaped sails. having small cracks or holes that will help you see slightly better. But the sails that give the biggest advantage are the Dark Adventurer sails. These sails have the biggest cutouts in the entire game. Always having at least one storage crate will make picking up supplies from barrels so much faster. I recommend never keeping all of your supplies in storage crates on top of your ship, so that if someone did board and threw your crate in the water, you wouldn't lose absolutely everything. You can tell if someone's hiding at the fort that you're heading to based on if skeletons shoot at you with cannons or not. These skeletons despawn when a player is nearby. If someone is on the island, no skeletons will spawn to shoot at your ship as you approach it. Also, be aware that if you see this message in-game, this will mean that you're getting merged to a server with more players. So take a look around and make sure there's no new threats nearby. You can hit the ship harpoons with a sword or shoot them to retract them. Auto move is amazing for swimming long distances, so make sure that you have it hotkeyed. Just like all the other items in Sea of Thieves, kegs float. Depending on the situation, consider kegging a ship by diving down and letting go of the keg so that it floats up and hits the enemy ship. Leaving food on your stove will cause it to burn and eventually catch fire to your ship. Even if you don't like PvP, learning about it, practicing it, and honing your skills will make your time in the seas a lot easier. As you improve, you'll be able to defend your treasure better and send those pesky pirates to the bottom of the ocean. Twice a day for 1 hour, you can receive 1.5 times more rewards for sold treasure. This is called Gold Rush. I'll leave a link in the description for the wiki page so that you can figure out the Gold Rush times in your time zone. Tridents do more damage to PvE enemies, making them extremely strong against all enemies and even bosses. If the fort or event that you're doing is being contested, watch out for mermaids. If a mermaid shows up, that means there's another player nearby. Stacking loot is fun, but the more you stack, the more you risk losing at any point. I recommend selling often to prevent losing all of that potential gold and rep that you worked hard for. If you spam block with your sword and ring the mast bell as fast as you can, you'll get kicked from the game. Imagine your wheel is broken and your boat is stuck turning. You want to repair your wheel, but you don't have time. In this case, you can actually control the turning of your boat with your sail. If your sails are down, you'll turn much wider, and if you put them all the way up, you'll turn much sharper. Because of how it affects your speed, it'll affect your turning radius. Always destroy mermaid statues. There are a ton of commendations for them, and they will drop 1 to 3 gems of their respective color. These can also be fantastic for leveling up your rep for any trading company. Storms suck. I recommend staying outside of them as much as possible, but sailing through them can be a great way to discourage someone from chasing you. Finding certain types of bait for fishing is very easy. If you dig in the grass, you'll get earthworms. If you dig in the sand, you'll get grubs. And if you dig near the water, you'll find leeches. Having a cannon rowboat on your sloop will effectively give your sloop the firepower of a brig. If you ever need to get back to your ship and you can't find your mermaid, blunderbombing yourself and waiting to respawn will probably be faster than searching around and swimming out into the ocean to make one spawn. You can refill your inventory by spamming F at storage crates. It'll refill your inventory with anything you're missing that the storage crate or barrel can provide you. Don't underestimate players that aren't wearing fancy cosmetics. On the flip side of that, don't overestimate players with good cosmetics. One chain shot will break a mast on a galleon or brig, but taking down a mast on a sloop will take 2. Respawning will take longer depending on your boat and crew size. A solo slooper will respawn slightly faster than a duo sloop, and brigs and galleons will take even longer. Sea forts are extremely good for gold, rep, kegs, and supplies. In PvP, if the enemy won't stop trying to cannon you from their ship, try sniping them. If you hit them, they'll have to back off to heal. This is something I do every time I spawn in on a ship to prepare for the day of sailing, and I honestly think it's a really good thing to do. Make sure to grab a storage crate and pick up the stuff from the nearby barrels on the outpost. You can get a ton of food, boards, cannonballs, and so much more from doing this, and you'll be so much more prepared for your journey. There's not a whole lot of places to run around on a sloop during PvP, but there are a few ways that you can jump onto the ladder from the back of your boat to confuse the enemy. You can grab it through the window to get back to the top of the ship, or you can grab it from the very back, as you can see in the video. If you head over next to the tavern keeper, you can turn on this little music box with a happy little skeleton and listen to some music. If you hold block with your sword before dashing and hold forward, it'll allow you to jump during your lunge, and you'll be able to dash so much further than normal, especially if you dash into the water. When you're boarding a ship against ladder guarders, try to fake out their shot. If they miss their blunder, you basically get a free board. Also, if they aren't willing to fire, try dropping off the ladder, blunder them to knock them back or try to kill them, and then catch the ladder again and climb up. If you're at an island in Devil's Roar and you anchor your ship, the earthquakes from the volcanoes won't move your boat away from where it was parked. Don't break your legs when you jump down from the crow's nest. Make sure to grab the ladder right as you're about to reach the bottom to break your fall. This will allow you to get down much faster than just sliding down the ladder, but also without taking any damage.